All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. With one stroke of the pen, Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert became the highest paid player in the National Football League. Yesterday, the Chargers and Herbert agreed on a 5-year extension for 262.5 million, with more than 133 million being guaranteed. Herbert's deal makes him the highest paid player in the NFL as he is set to earn $52.5 million annually. Now, Herbert was drafted by the Chargers in the first round in 2020. He was sixth overall that year. And obviously, the Chargers believe in him to be their franchise quarterback. We've seen Herbert improve in each one of his 3 years. We've seen the Chargers improve in each one of his 3 years there. And now it's going to be interesting to see, can he and the Chargers continue to try to get over that hump? I say that because, fairly or not, Justin Herbert is definitely going to be under the microscope now. I know that the Chargers are still trying to get their footing, if you will, in Los Angeles. They're taking a back seat there to the Rams because even though that both teams just returned, the Rams obviously had more of the reputation in LA than the Chargers. When you still think about the Chargers, you think about them in San Diego. Uh, but nonetheless, Justin Herbert's in a big market. And of course, when you're in a big market and you're a big time player that's getting a big contract, it puts you under the microscope, regardless of the sport that you play in. Now, in 3 years as a Chargers starting quarterback, Herbert's record is 25 and 24. He's completed nearly 67% of his passes. He's thrown 94 touchdowns to just 35 interceptions. But one thing that his critics are going to try to run with are the fact that, hey, the end of 2021, where the Chargers had a win and in scenario against the Raiders in that last game of the season, and they lost. Granted, it all was not Justin Herbert's fault because he brought them back in that game, a miraculous comeback, but they just fell short to the silver and black. And then, of course, most recently, this past January in the wild card round, where the Chargers had a 27 to nothing lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their defense was forcing turnovers left and right in the first half, and they could not close the door. And when it was all said and done, Jacksonville came back and won that contest. In that game, Herbert was only 25 of 43 passing for 273 and a touchdown in his playoff debut. I'll tell you like this, it's big money, but I think that when you think about Herbert, he's one of the young, up and coming quarterbacks in the NFL. The future is bright for him, and the Chargers have to find a way to keep building around him. There is talent on this Chargers team, but it's just historically, regardless if they're San Diego or LA, regardless of who's on the team or not, the Chargers sometimes simply can't get out of their own way. That's the biggest thing. But I'll tell you like this, Justin Herbert has all of the makings of being an elite quarterback in the NFL. Justin Herbert has all of the makings of being a future NFL MVP. And if you're Brandon Staley, the Chargers head coach, and of course, new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, you got to be happy about this. Dean Spanos, the Chargers owner, has shown his commitment to Herbert. And I think this deal, in my opinion, lays the groundwork for Joe Burrow to get his deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. I say that because in that year where Herbert went sixth overall to the Chargers, Burrow was the first overall pick to Cincinnati that year. We've seen Burrow lead the Bengals to a Super Bowl appearance. They were on the cusp of winning the Super Bowl. They got back to the AFC Championship last year, and there are plenty of people around that have them pegged as one of the top teams once again in the AFC. So if this is what Justin Herbert is getting, you have to expect more for Joe Burrow. But I'll tell you like this, even with that said, we see the quarterbacks getting the big money as it's the most glamorous position in sports. But make no mistake about it, it's the fine line between the quarterbacks getting the big bag or taking a team friendly deal. Because I say that because, of course, there's always going to be restructuring. You're always going to lose players when quarterbacks get these big time deals. But in the case of Herbert, you got to put a team around him if you're going to win. So it's one of those. The big dollar signs are big and it's pretty and it's nice, but if you don't have that team around you, things are definitely going to change. But one thing is for sure, Justin Herbert is paid. His wallet is nice, big, and fat right now. But nonetheless, you took that big deal. Now people want to see what you're going to do. Can you deliver a championship for the Chargers? Nobody has at this point. But nonetheless, the spotlight is definitely going to be on the young man Justin Herbert, and let's see if he will be able to indeed live up to the billing. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.